The suffragettes were women who fought for the right to vote in parliamentary elections. They took direct action. They believed in militant action. Deeds, not words, was their motto, and they believed that that was the way that they were going to get the vote. Well, the Museum of London holds the world's largest collection of material relating to the Militant Votes for Women campaign, and in particular women who served terms of imprisonment for militancy. And probably one of the most iconic objects from this collection is the Hunger Strike Medal that was presented to Emmeline Pankhurst in 1912. And like her fellow suffragettes, Emmeline went on hunger and thirst strike when she was in prison. And this was really in protest against the government's decision not to regard suffragettes as political prisoners. And over 1,000 women actually went to prison. The Hunger Strike medals were presented to all women who served terms of imprisonment with hunger strike. Really symbolises the courage and commitment not only of the suffragettes but also in particular Emmeline herself. Images of her recovering at safe houses like that of her friend and companion Ethel Smythe really depict a very frail looking woman weakened by hunger strike. Emmeline's three daughters, Adela, Christabel and Sylvia, also all served terms of imprisonment for militancy. And we have in the collection this wonderful pastel and charcoal self-portrait by Sylvia that really represents the haunting nature of imprisonment that led to hunger strike and force feeding. Of course, the suffragette movement wasn't all about imprisonment and militancy. They were very savvy and they knew how important it was to cause major spectacle in London. One of these was the coronation procession of June 1911, and this was in response to the coronation of George V. And they wanted to show that they could put on a greater show as had been seen on the streets of London. They wanted to represent all corners of the empire. This included women from India. And the image in the collection of the Indian contingent, to the left of the image, wearing white, is Lolita Roy. And she was a social reformer, a female suffragist. And this was a really spectacular event, and it attracted a huge attention from the national and international press. For the suffragettes, getting the vote was really the first stage of improving the lives of all women. And obviously there's still a long way to go in that. Issues such as domestic violence, of course, still is a huge problem today. But there's still also an element of shock when we see women being arrested for campaigning. And I think there still is a huge amount for women to achieve. All the sacrifices and the courage that these women had have still not really 100 years later made the difference that they would have hoped at that time.